In today's video, we'll be using an old iPhone to be used as a locator for the vehicle. Many of today's vehicles already have an app where you can find your vehicle where it was last parked. So not having this in mind, I decided to use an old iPhone for this. Here we have an old iPhone 4. As you can see, it's been kind of abused. It's not very useful by today's standards. Not many apps will run on it, but the Find My app does work with it. You will have to prepare the phone before. This one's already been done. And I set it up so that it's automatically going to find a network wherever it is. After that, here I have an old cigarette lighter charger that's been damaged, believe it or not, by the liquid of an air freshener from the dollar store. The unit itself still works, charging and all, but the plastic casing is completely done. The idea here is to solder wires on the positive and negative, close this all up, make it nice and secure, so to speak, with electrical tape. And here is a charging cable to be used with the previous mentioned items. So we'll start by soldering positive and negative to here, or here, your choice, either way, doesn't matter, but the sides are the negative, the front is your positive. Here we have the charger with the wires soldered on. I just have to tape it all up nice and neat. And I left a lot of wire because I don't know yet into what power source we are going to hook it up to. It's all going to depend on the location that we plan to hide the charger and the phone. At the same time, we are looking for a power source that works with the key on, so that we don't drain the car battery ever. I know it doesn't use a lot of juice. Chances of that happening are close to zero, but there's still that chance. As for the phone itself, if it runs out of power for whatever reason, it will start charging automatically when the key is on because of this, because of the way we're going to plug this in. And once it's powered up, my phone kicks in automatically. So here we have it, all taped up, nice and neat. This particular charger has a little light to indicate that it's on, and I'm going to leave this exposed up until the end installation, so to speak. Then I'll cover it up so that it doesn't glow anywhere. So I decided, after checking, that the best place would be behind here. There is a slot where the phone drops in beautifully. So I'm going to go on with the disassembly just to show you, even though by now you guys should all know. Once again, we're using our trim tools not to damage any of the plastics. So we just start popping out. You work yourself around nice and easy. Place it to the side. Then a 9/32 socket, and you have to remove 4 screws. The radio does not have to be removed to get to the location. Now, as you can see here, you would drop the phone in and it slides in. So I'm going to do it just to show you how hidden the phone is, with lots of room to put our power supply from the USB. I believe this is the OnStar box in the back, although I'm not sure. But I do see what looks like the Bluetooth symbol in the back, so I'm going to have to guess yes. There it is. So, once again, this is where the phone would go in. If you notice, it drops in and you can buy it flat, and that's it. You don't even see it. It doesn't come through underneath. So looking under the dash, you'll find a cover here near the brake pedal, the handbrake pedal, sorry, which houses multiple junctions, and there's an accessory section which works with the key. So this is where I plan to connect it. There's already one terminal used for my dash cam, and just going to show you now how it pops out. It's a push pin right there. So we take our tool, stick him in, pop it out, and there it is. Let it drop to the ground. Pushing it back in after into that hole, it's not a problem. So here on the side, don't know how well you'll see it. Let me get some light. Right there, where you see this red wire connect, there are two other pins below that give power with the key on, and the one next to it on the right is a constant power. So I'm gonna run my wire all through underneath here, nicely tucked, coming out here and plugged in. Here I ran a stiff wire to help pass the wire behind the dash. I opted to go through the little space right below the radio, so it will come sort of hanging downwards. The stiff wire will come out on this side here. To be able to see a little better, you can pull down this dash without having to fully remove it. This part of the dash here, I guess you'd call it the knee kick plate. It just snaps in, and you can just see the wire, if I can get it to focus, but it's right there at the end of my finger. You don't really see it, but it's to help pass the wire. So I'll just continue fishing the wire through. Again, being careful to tuck it up out of the way and not rubbing on anything. In other words, if there's any moving parts under there, make sure that it does not rub there. Alright, so we're going to run our wire. Again, not sure what we're seeing here because I'm recording. Here we have the grounded wire, which I put an eye on and plan to ground right here, just like that. On the other end, you have to put one of these small terminals. That'd be on the power end. So here we have it plugged in. It's not easy to get in. You're probably going to need needle nose pliers to push it through. Now I'm going to put on the cover. I left extra wire because the cover has sort of an opening at the top, if you look at it. So the wires would be tucked kind of behind it. So I have to put the phone down again and put everything together. So before closing everything up, we're just going to make a quick check to make sure that the charger is functioning. Should see a little green light pop up there. And the radio. So as near as I can tell, everything's working. There we have the little charger on, which I'm going to put a little piece of tape over the light so we don't have any glow at the back of the dash. Here I wrapped a tie wrap just to hold the power supply the USB charger in place so it doesn't flop around or knock. Now, as for the iPhone 4, I'm going to put some foam on it so we don't hear it bouncing on plastic for vibration. I might opt to put a dab of silicone. I'm not sure which yet, but I think it's going to be the foam. Decided to go with silicone just to be extra sure for vibration and movement. So all I did was put a gob on only two corners. This will be the two corners that are towards the opening here once it's placed. And I'm placing it with the screen down again to avoid any light shining around. Put it in at an angle and get it to fall flat, because there is kind of a lip there. There. And try not to move it too much once it's down, because you don't want the silicone spreading all over. So there it is in its place, and the silicone will be on this end here. So if you ever need to remove it, just hook it and slightly pull. Just put everything back, and just so we're aware, I believe I mentioned it earlier, the phone has been tested that when it charges up, it fires up right away, and it's set up for the Find My Phone app, or My Phone app, or whatever it's called. Right now the phone is dead, so at the same time I'm going to test it by taking a little drive just up the street. The reason being is because I know that it's automatically going to connect to my home network, so I want to make sure I'm far enough that it won't do that. And because it's completely dead, it will take a couple of minutes to fire up. There is no passcode on it. If you put a passcode, I don't know if you can still use the Find My App feature or Find My Phone feature. So I opted no passcode. And like I said, it doesn't matter anyway. It's such an old phone that there's no real use besides for what we're doing right here. So I'm just going to close up, and when I'm ready, we're going to just drive up the street and test it out. So my personal hotspot is on my regular phone, and the other phone should be hooked up to it. I'm parked in the parking lot of a grocery store, so the repurposed iPhone should show up